For 10,000 years, the Versailles arena was a symphony of glorious violence. It echoed with the roars of victory and the screams of defeat. Blood, glory, and legend were forged on its sands. This was the place that saw the rise of the fearsome Dreth warlords. It was here the Savari twins dismantled an entire battalion using nothing but sound waves. And for 60 consecutive years, it hosted the legendary Makari champion, Gorath, the Unbroken. His undefeated streak was more than a record. It had become a religion. In all its 10,000 years, the arena had never, not once, gone completely silent, until the humans stepped onto the sand. Her name was Lieutenant Zara Cole. She wasn't a fighter. Not today. She was a diplomatic observer. One of 3 humans sent to attend the Vorkai Grand Championship. It was a gesture of goodwill, a first step in Earth's push for trade negotiations with the powerful Vorkai Dominion. Attending their most sacred cultural event was seen as a sign of deep respect. For 2 long days, Zara watched from the elevated observer's platform. She took meticulous notes on Vorkai combat traditions, politely ate the nutrient pods Ambassador Reeves kept handing her, and fought a losing battle against boredom. Zara was a soldier, a woman of action. Sitting still was not her strong suit. Then, on the 3rd day, everything changed. Gorath, the Unbroken, wasn't just a champion, he was a monument. By Vorkai biological standards, he was a small building, 8 feet tall, 400 kilograms of dense muscle and reinforced bone plating. His reflexes were so fast they made most advanced targeting computers look sluggish. And his weapon, the Vork blade, was an icon. It was a ceremonial war instrument, passed down through 40 generations of Vorkai champions. It weighed 230 kilograms. Just its handle required 2 hands and a full-body brace to grip properly. No non-Vorkai species had ever even touched it, at least not seriously. The Makari ambassador had tried once, as a joke at a state dinner. He'd pulled a muscle and knocked over 3 tables in the process. You see, the Vork blade wasn't just heavy in a physical sense. It was culturally heavy. It was a symbol of Vorkai supremacy, of their physical perfection, and the natural order of power in the galaxy. It represented their core belief that they were the strongest, the most dominant force. So, when Gorath finished his championship bout that afternoon, ending it in a blistering 11 seconds as usual, he performed the traditional gesture of dominance. He set the Vork blade upright in the sand at the center of the arena and raised his arms to the roaring crowd of 60,000 adoring fans. The noise was deafening. A physical force. He was so caught up in the moment, he didn't notice Lieutenant Zara Cole hopping the barrier. She hadn't planned it. This was the part that historians and sociologists would dissect in academic papers for the next century. It wasn't premeditated. The Vork blade was simply Tere, Tere, and Zara, a woman who had spent 15 years in asteroid combat units, hauling equipment that would make most species literally weep, just looked at it. She assessed it with the calm, professional eye of someone who had once carried a collapsed ceiling off a trapped crew member, using nothing but her own shoulders and sheer stubbornness. This was a problem to be analyzed, not an icon to be worshipped. She walked across the sand, her boots making soft crunching sounds that were completely swallowed by the roar of the crowd. She reached the blade, which towered over her. Without a moment's hesitation, she wrapped both hands around the massive grip and lifted. There was no brace, no wide, grounding stance, no grunt of exertion, no visible effort at all. She just picked it up. She lifted it the way a person picks up a bag of groceries. And that's when it happened. The silence, the roar of 60,000 beings died so completely, so instantaneously, that for the first time in millennia, a single, tiny sound filled the vast arena. The soft whisper of sand shifting under Zara's boots. The entire civilization held its breath. Gorath, the Unbroken champion, slowly lowered his arms and turned. He stared, his mind unable to process what his eyes were seeing. Zara, oblivious to the cultural cataclysm she had just caused, looked up at the blade. She tilted it slightly to the left, then to the right, testing its balance. She had the quiet, focused curiosity of a mechanic examining a slightly unusual piece of machinery. HM, she said, her voice carrying unnaturally far in the profound silence. Front heavy, you'd want to keep your elbow higher on the backswing to compensate. With that bit of unsolicited advice, she set the 2-100-30- symbol of Orcs supremacy back down as gently as she'd picked it up. She gave the handle to friendly pats, as if it were an old piece of gym equipment, and turned to walk back to the observer's platform. The silence held for 7 full seconds, an eternity. Then it broke. But it wasn't a sound of outrage. It wasn't a roar of challenge. It was something the Vorsai had no word for. It was a sound caught somewhere between absolute reverence and a collective existential crisis. A confused, awestruck murmur that rippled through 60,000 throats at once. Gorath. The Unbroken stood frozen in the center of his arena. He looked from the Vorpblade, sitting innocently in the sand, to the retreating figure of the small human lieutenant. Everything he knew, everything his culture was built upon, had just been casually appended. "What?" he said quietly, to no one in particular. His voice filled with disbelief. "Just happened." From the observer's platform above, Ambassador Reeves leaned over, a weary but apologetic smile on his face. He'd seen things like this before. He looked down at the bewildered champion and said, "That's just a Tuesday for them, unfortunately. What do you think? Did Zara just start a war? Or did she earn humanity a place at the table? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this story, make sure to like and subscribe for more tailies from across the galaxy. Thanks for watching.